Right, good afternoon, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank all of you for reaching out to us at the shortest invitation. I will introduce the team that I'm with here today. My name is Ethan Matibela. I'm the chairman of the Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veterans Association. And on my left is Comrade John Hamandi Shea, who is the Secretary for Information and Publicity. And on my right is the Secretary General. I must inform you that we are the substantive executive committee. We are no longer the interim. We went through the processes, and as a result, it made us who we are. We are here today to try to inform members of the public as well as our veterans out there who from time to time they get misinformed. We are reacting to issues that is to do with our association as being anti-establishment. In my view, I think the anti-establishment, meaning we are anti-government of the Republic of Zimbabwe. We are also alleged to be anti-ruling party Zanu PF. And our position as the association is we are neither anti-system or the ruling party. We are non-committal to anything else except our mandate as an association. We would want to remain in our lane, subscribing to the constitution of the private volunteer organization, in this case, the Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veterans Association. The mandate of the association basically is to help war veterans manage their economic challenges. I'm sure you're aware that war veterans, by their large numbers, of course, not at the exclusion of the generality of Zimbabwean public, but I speak on behalf of war veterans because my position represents war veterans themselves. They are not in a good standing in terms of their welfare. So our mandate is to help them manage those difficult circumstances. We have a few privileged individuals who, upon realizing that we are making frantic effort to address welfare issues for war veterans, and them having not done anything to assist the war veterans, they are trumping up those malicious allegations, giving false information. And the information is targeted at the presidium in government, which include His Excellency, the President of Zimbabwe, Comrade Emmerson Mnangagwa. So much has been happening that we've been witnessing because we don't always jump to make noise at any instigation. But we think we have had enough of this kind of vitriol. At some point in time, it's alleged that my team and I went to visit the mayor, whether he's still the mayor, but we visited the mayor, Ian Makoni, and solicited his assistants to go to the American embassy or government and ask for $1 million US. The purpose of $1 million US is to then destabilize the government of Zimbabwe. It's a very serious allegation. Hence, the need for us to be here just to allay. But I can tell you the source of that kind of information comes from someone with a personal vested interest. It's neither the ruling party nor the government. Most of the time, wherever we do our meetings or our movement, they are monitored by the security. At times we invite them, or most of the time we invite them because we don't want to look suspicious in any way. We have nothing to hide. But guess what? For people who have a predetermined mind, they will go ahead still and make a mountain out of a mole. I'm here busy wasting your time and our time because I simply want to make the facts straight. I should be informing you that our roadmap come 2024 is ABCD, which we have already prepared, and we are good to go. But here we are fighting our own fellow comrades. These fellow comrades hold privileged positions. They are very comfortable. So anyone who goes out of his or her way to try to make a better living for the benefit of the generality of all veterans, they are against it. They will go and tell the president. They will go and tell anyone who have ears to listen to say we are nothing but troublemakers. And my attitude is, if I'm a troublemaker indeed, and the reason being a troublemaker is in an endeavor to change the lives of my fellow veterans who constitute a larger number in terms of their welfare challenges, to me is so be it. I am not here to create an impression that I have wisdom of, I have monopoly of wisdom or anything else. I simply try to appeal to those that have the capacity or the ability to assist the problems faced by war veterans to come aboard, either by way of advice or by way of material assistance and all that. Because in all honesty, if you go to the rural areas, you will see that war veterans are not in good shape. I do not want to speak on only behalf of war veterans, but the generality of Zimbabweans are not in a very good situation. But just because today I speak being the chairman of the Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veterans, I would want to highlight the challenges faced by war veterans. For those that are normal people like myself, I will take it as a blessing. Members of the press, we have disabled war veterans since 1980. They came literally crawling, unable to function, unable to fund themselves, unable to look after themselves. They are disabled and therefore they are unable to do any meaningful work that will provide welfare for their families, even themselves, including psychological therapies and all that. So this leadership is seized with the need to take the issue of disabled war veterans as a priority. Because, and guess why? Apart from just being very caring people, I'm imagining that probably I'm alive today because those people who were attacked and disabled were affected trying to protect me. Here I am today enjoying the freedom of independence, but I'm beginning to forget that the people who have suffered physically, mentally, are no longer necessary in my life because I've moved on. To some of us, I don't think it's a nice thing to do. So we are here to dispel this myth of us not being anti the system, anti the ruling parties, anti-PF. But I also want to draw you back to one little incident. When we were in interim, we had other comrades, I think, whose ambitions were to become naturally the leadership of the association. And when they failed to sail through, and I can tell you with authority that what came out of their displeasure was a declaration that there should be no leadership at the top from ZIPRA veterans. So that has been the fight. They don't want, I am a ZIPRA veteran, and they do not want me to be the leader. It's not every Zanla. Actually, the majority of Zanla veterans voted for me. And they didn't vote for ZIPRA veterans. They voted for someone who's able, who had a vision, and who is determined. This team here is a very able team. They are the like-minded, and they want to see veterans change their current welfare or economic conditions. That's all where we are packed. We are not interested in so many other things except the welfare of war veterans. But for someone to stoop that low 43 years down the line, we had issues of national unity where it was heavily compromised. We still have vivid memories of that kind of, and for someone this day and age to want to resuscitate that kind of history, it's very unfortunate. It really touches some of us to the core. We are here as Zimbabweans. I didn't choose to be a ZIPRA veteran. I chose to be a political soldier so that I can effect change for the better and for the betterment of the Zimbabweans. That is my job description, or that was my job description. If coincidentally or accidentally I found myself under ZIPRA. That's it. But I can tell you that it doesn't have the blessing of the leadership of Zanu PF, that they don't like ZIPRA. It's only a very few people who feel that if I'm better or more intelligent than them, I'm a threat. So the most stupid thing they can do is to then say Matibela is try to influence junior Zanla veterans. There's no one who is junior in our liberation structure. We are equal. We simply give each other responsibilities. I don't need to influence anyone. We simply discuss as comrades, and we agree. If we don't agree, we still deliberate further, and there we are. So this is what I thought I should, through your platforms, I should share with the nation. And I hope veterans, by far and large, they will make up their mind based on my submission, and also based on the fact that it is only them who can change their circumstances. And through a unit of purpose, can they overcome. That's where my submission ends. I would also probably like to give the opportunity for some contributions from my colleagues. Maybe I'll start with Comrade Dube, if he has something to add or subtract. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members of the press. It's sad, it's a sad day that you have to congregate here to deliberate on misconceptions from people who don't really appreciate the effort that we are undertaking to remove economic deprivation from the majority of war veterans. We have a mandate as the current national executive of the Zimbabwe National Liberation War Veteran Association, which is derived from the Congress Declaration and Action Plan. That's where we derive our mandate from. If you are opportuned to visit our website, which reads znlwva.co.zw. Let me repeat again. Our website, znlwva.co.zw. In that website, you'll find an elaborate scope and roadmap that we envisage to fulfill. And at the moment, we are seized with the matter of addressing the matters that were resolved at Congress. So, without further ado, people who are not informed might say whatever they want, but we are not going to move from the mandate that we're given by the comrades. As we leave this place, I believe also the media will now start appreciating that we are not here to propagate a political agenda. That's not our business. There are many players in this country who are propagating the political agenda. We, as the current executive, have enunciated on several forums that we are friends to all and enemy to none. in our endeavor to fulfill the Congress declaration, we are taking on board several stakeholders. I'm going to reiterate again. The government, private sector, civil society, and media remain part of the stakeholders that we will continuously engage. That is why today we are here. That is why yesterday we engaged in civil society. That is why the day before yesterday we engaged in the government, because they have all of them, they have a role to play. The government needs to implement the Veterans of the Liberation Struggle Act, Chapter 1712. So we need to engage them. It's a brilliant piece of legislation. The private sector, since we are now looking at economically empowering us, we need to learn from those that have been in the field, learn the ropes. Civil society, we are living amongst people. We need to be in sync with what this nation wants. It used to be a slogan, fish and water. This is what we want to do. We want to maintain that people and us remain as fish and water. So, in a nutshell, I presume and hope that this will bring to the fore what we are here for, not these flimsy narrations or narratives that are being propagated by people who are not informed. I want to thank you.
Thank you, SJ. Comrade Amandisha.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I think he has already been alluded to earlier on by our chairman here and the Secretary General. We are actually singing from the same hymn. Maybe what is only left is to appeal to all war veterans to come together so that we are all involved in this change. I think the time is come, and the time is now to change our economic position, to improve the quality of life of all war veterans. And we are representing all war veterans. And definitely that change is coming. I thank you.
Right there, yeah. Thanks, comrades. Maybe for those that would want to throw a few questions, we would allow. Yes, comrade, you state your name and the organization you represent.
My name is Chengetai Lawyer. I represent Spain International News Agency.
So?
I represent Spain International News Agency.
Okay.
Was through four questions to you, comrade. You said you followed due process of being elected with the chairman of the Congress, because I don't remember. I didn't see where you had a Congress of the any executive being elected as I did. Secondly, also the issue of you said someone in the office is trying to fight you executive. Can you name that person is from the statement that you are making? The third question would be how many members are still like in terms of office? Because last time we had 50,000 now, want to know the exact number. Then the final questions would be.
I don't have the statistics of the date, but I would estimate right now to be, we are around 33, 30, 35, thereabout. Because as I speak, someone is dying now. So I'm not the authority in that kind of statistic. But look, and I thank you for throwing those three questions. I will also want to take this opportunity to respond by saying the reason why war veterans are dying is just not by their natural age, because we have had, averagely we are around between 60 and 70, and it's no excuse to just die because you have reached 70. It's how you look after yourself. If you have access to healthcare services and you are eating well, you have a peace of mind. it can guarantee you longevity, right? And now, you ask about whether or not we are legit. I'll just give you, because it's not really a cut and design approach to this so-called Congress. In the first place, and I hope you were here, we explained to the nation that um, our constitution says an executive committee should only stay for 5 years. Thereafter, they should cause for a Congress. They didn't do that, and not only didn't they do that, they overstayed by another 5 years, which made them 10 years. We became impatient. A few individuals became impatient to an extent that we approached the line ministry, or by then it was Paul Mavima. The summary of it is he also agreed that that executive had overstayed their mandate. So he encouraged us to form a committee, which we would call an interim committee, which then will help prepare for, it's no longer the ordinary Congress, is the extraordinary Congress, which means it is not an ordinary one. This is the route that we took. Now, we don't do it for publicity. We do it because we want to reach a certain threshold. So what did we do? Because it was self-sponsored, and I will give you the reason why we had to self-sponsor ourselves. We went to government. Somewhere, somehow, there's a provision that government can help the association take care of financial issues to do with the congresses and other initiatives. Government said it didn't have money. We wrote them, and in return they said they didn't have the money. So to us, Congress does not stop with whether or not it has the money. Obviously, we are the ones that seek the help to change our welfare. We then come up with an idea, and then sourced for funds for the extra Congress. The extra Congress did happen. We first did visit provinces, right? And we had proxies that nominated a proxy, who then would then nominate the top 6 national, okay?
Yes.
So when they've done that, because we determined that through, by virtue of our limited budget, this is the best way we can come around it. There was nothing amiss, there was nothing illegal or unconstitutional about it. So we did it above board. So we were nominated from the provinces. The president of Zimbabwe was elected not in Harare. He was elected from all the provinces, didn't he? So what makes us different in that approach? We exercise that wisdom, and then the provinces appended their signatures that they have nominated so and so, and they've elected. So the representative from the provinces then converged through the same process. They converged at a local hotel, and then they endorse those nominations, and the end result was an election which brought us. I hope I answered your question. I have forgotten the third one. You said I must name an individual. It's tricky for fear of litigation. You know, I don't want to be sexist. You know your wife is cheating, but you don't know who she's cheating with. Do you go just naming the names, or yeah? I think you'll bear with me up until I know that is the person. In my mind, I have that mind, but then that can be a little bit in terms of, I know a few individuals. But just yesterday, a comrade called Zairo confronted me in an open space and attacked me, alleging that's where the source of that $1 million solicit. He removed he went through his cell phone and said, "What is this?" I said, "These are my pictures." Yes, I went and saw Ian Makoni. By the way, Ian Makoni was accompanied by war veterans who are working for the city of Harare. They are 160 in their number. I think they are employed as security and what. So to us, they are part of our plight. So when we meet the employer of our veterans, we don't look at him as belonging to any political party. He has been accepted by the ruling party to run the local authority through his election. He has been accepted. So why can't I go and see Ian Makoni if he is the one who can? The reason why we went to see him, which was tapped, it's on record. We said, "Mr. Mayor, we are here as war veterans because, like any other ordinary citizen, we have issues that we think our local authority can help us. One, we don't have offices that we can operate from, like any organized institution. So we are here to ask your good office to help us secure pieces of land where we can build offices in order to operate. We just don't want to keep on renting, because renting obviously is like putting money in a bottomless pit. So we would want to, and we thought the city fathers were going to appreciate the contribution we did during the armed struggle to give them the freedom they enjoy today. So that was the sole reason. And then we also further asked if they could accord war veterans the freedom of the city and anything that goes with the status. That was how very simple the things were. How $1 million came about is something that obviously is generated by someone with practical malice. So this is where I hope I have answered your question.
Just hold on. Through you, Chair, I just want to make a few additions which will probably enlighten the Zimbabwean populace about relationships as Zimbabweans, which we all aspire having. A lot of people, like the kind of persons who will go lambasting an effort that was done by the chairman, are people who don't subscribe to national politics. When there's political contestation in a country, it does not mean we have political warfare, no. After political contestation, we are all supposed to work for the growth of the nation and build bridges. If it were that this government thinks along those lines, we wouldn't have ambassadors representing Zimbabwe from the MDC. But because someone is a simpleton in his thinking, he then thinks after political contestation, we should make that political warfare. We refuse to be embroiled in such type of politics. We want to exhibit a national outlook. That's my contribution. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Sulik Batimba for Media Center. From judging from the statement that you have just given to us, you actually painting a very bleak picture that points to a intense or fierce fighting within the war veterans community. What could be the reason why there is so much fighting or division within the people that we respect, the war veterans? We expect the war veterans to at least to lead by example of showing us the integrity of unity.
My brother,
That's number one. Number two, do you have a working relationship with your parent ministry and maybe the minister himself? Do you have a working relationship with the Minister of War Veterans?
Well, I'll try to answer the second question. This is the position of our executive, and I think the generality of all veterans. To me personally, I'm for dialogue. I don't have to like you or hate you to work with you. If it's in my interest, I will definitely work with anyone, including my enemy. Comrade Msangwa, who is now our minister, we have written him a letter of congratulations. We have submitted ourselves in order to create harmony for the benefit of war veterans, because we are not here for our personal benefit. Our benefit in the process, but we are here as leaders, and we must take cognizance of the plight of our constituents, which is the war veterans themselves. So in that light, we are so happy that he has been appointed. We are so happy to work with him. In fact, we are uploaded with those programs that we think, since he is part of the stakeholder, we would share with him. We don't even mind giving him and him adopting as his own, because the end game is the war veterans benefiting from this endeavor. You understand? So in summary, my committee and I are willing to work with the government of the day through the line ministry, which is led by Comrade Mswanga. I have no beef with him personally, because I have no time to engage in personal feelings. I deal with national issues, and the national issues, I look at the source of the problems. I deal with the source of the problems, irrespective of whether they have a name or not. Yeah. So to answer your question, we are in a process of working with the minister, except that we have written him a letter. That was 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. He has not responded. Just yesterday, I called him. Maybe he was busy. He did not answer to my call. I wrote him a message on WhatsApp. It has not blue ticked. Some smartphones don't blue tick. I will assume he has read it. I've gone through another avenue. I've asked someone to talk to him on our behalf. We are yet to see the response. But I will assume, being the leader that is expected of him, he doesn't have to work with the people he likes. He also, because we are war veterans, he should not, or he must not avoid us.
But isn't he supposed to maybe at least give you some kind of preference? You being an association that is representative of his constituency, is he not supposed to at least give you? Are you not worried, or have you not come to the conclusion that he's avoiding you? You have written to him, he has not responded. You have texted him, everything that you have done, he has not responded.
Yes, he has done that, comrade. He has done that, but it's him, it's not me. Me, I've done my role. I've reached him out. I've dispelled everything else. It's entirely up to him to make a decision. I can't shoot him and say, why are you not answering? It's his prerogative whether to respond to me. But I must also tell you that we have publicly mentioned that we are working with all stakeholders. You understand what I mean? He is part of the stakeholders. I will not stop breathing because one stakeholder is not talking to me. We will go to the media and ask for donation in cash of kind. The end game, ladies and gentlemen, is to try to help veterans. By the way, it's an official. There is a medical group in Manicaland which already has come forward and say they are going to go conduct a welfare, what do you call it? Wellness clinic. That means doctors will call war veterans in the neighborhood and give them a public service for free. It is through such efforts we are doing. It is through the establishment of these strategic relationships we are creating. No wonder why to us, as a Zimbabwean, no one is an enemy to us. Because you just do not know a person who is going to save your life tomorrow, or vice versa. All right. Can I address the issue of why I'm sure you are asking why we are not united. First of all, I think one of the reasons is poverty. You know, when people are poor, especially in our African culture, hakuna nofa kusina uroi. That has always been the norm. When people are poor, they will even kill for poverty. We have amongst ourselves veterans of the liberation struggle who are fighting us, but they are still walking. They are full-time pedestrians, but they will defend. I don't even know what they are defending. They will fight us and say, no, you are anti-establishment, because they have just heard from a fat guy who is enjoying, who will simply go and sow a seed of. That's exactly how we are being used by politicians. We are used by bandits. Huh? So, but we must be rational in how we tackle. That's what we call how to manage issues. I'm not here for self-aggrandizement. I'm here at least to be used by those that want to change their life. This is where we are. So unity, it has nothing to do with whether or not you participated in the struggle. We are in a different political, political struggle, economic struggle. And in the economic struggle is may the best man win. So for those that are eating, surely they will never invite those who are not eating. Typically, if you have a dog, it's always outside. Have you ever invited it? Maybe, but you will always keep it there. You want it to bark so that no one comes in, but you will throw a bone. Never in your life would you give it a bone with steak. Why? Because it only becomes loyal on condition that maybe one time you will give it what? A steak. So we are cognizant of that. We are not stupid. We are politically matured. So this is how we are going. We are honestly, we will come out of the corner. But unity is just not. I cannot unite with someone who doesn't want to unite with me. Only when we understand each other, yes, then we can work together. Yes, sir.
Okay, could I from you, sir? So the fact that we are still talking about war veterans both 43 years after independence means someone is preparing to do their job along the way. What are you doing that is different from other communities that has come before that will ensure that your membership economically secure, socially secure?
Our roadmap, among other things, we have set a 100-day trial. And within those 100 days, just about 2-3 weeks back, we signed a contract for 500 million euro. A contract for 500. Don't worry about the figures, right? What about what we have achieved? So one of the achievements was we signed a 500 million euro contract with an international organization, which is an affiliate of United Nations and European Union. That one is focused on environment management. Zimbabwe is going to benefit if we manage our environment. So it's in the form of carbon credits. If you are a farmer, you'll be one of our recipients that we come and help you manage your environment, your soils, so that they are more organic friendly and other. For someone who appreciates that kind of initiative, will give us credit to that. It's one of them. The other one, obviously, on the roadmap, we have already, through our structure, we are talking about something that is on the 4th of December, I'm sure. There's going to be a wellness program, which is going to look into, I hope disabled veterans will also go there and get assistance. It's through this public relations we are creating through the association.
If I just might add to what the chair has put across, you want to have an appreciation what we are going to do that is different. I can tell you that Walsam, this executive, has brought in novel and innovative ideas that have never been there before. When the chairman made a presentation and I followed, I alluded to the fact that we already run a website. We are engaging stakeholders to make them understand who we are and what we want to do. We have already engaged also stakeholders to rebrand the association, to come out of that cocoon where people, when they look at war veterans, they look at us as political soldiers. We want to be seen now in this new dimension as an economic powers. We want to collaborate. That is why you find our scope of stakeholders is more diverse. How do we intend doing that? A first that we've done, we hosted a strategic workshop, an induction workshop, where we translated the Congress declarations and action plan to tangible KPIs, key performance indicators, which we are following to the latter. That is why the chairman alluded to 100-day. That means we've already set a game plan where we've got weightings, which mean we've got timings and what has to be achieved within a certain period. This has been our starting point. And we are still moving forward. Within the grapevine, we've already engaged stakeholders who are in the private sector, locally and internationally, which the former status quo never used to engage in. They would engage in the local public sector. We have gone further than that. Local private, international private, we're engaging them because we want to get into business. That is what we have defined ourselves as. If you look at the structure that we currently have, which were mandated by the Congress, it has a business synergy within the current organogram. We've removed like political commissar, security, and like, no, that has not been our stance. Our stance is to grow economically. Be part of NDS1. At the same time, benefiting the war veterans. That's the game plan. I thought I should clarify all that.
Thank you. Right. Thank you for coming. And let's not have the tendency of having press conferences. I would like the media to challenge us at any given time. Come to us and say, that day we were talking about this, where are you now? So that we would love to work under pressure.